Aled, gearing up for the Full Circle tour, and you are giving us lots of Scottish dates.
Yeah, 9 Scottish dates. This tour I've been doing for about a year now. I've done 75 of the dates so far. This tour is a lot more intimate. It's just me on stage telling my story. I kind of describe the first half as bad hair and bad clothes because we're firmly in the 70s and the 80s. So, you know, really bad bowl haircut and shell suits. And then the second half is my life up to now. So everything from Strictly to Mass Singer to, you know, all the stuff I do now. And I also sing about 7 songs and stuff. Everything from musical theatre to the religious stuff to, you know, the You Raise Me Ups to all kinds of stuff. And also duet with Little Aled as well.
That's lovely.
Whilst he's on the screen. I've never allowed myself to look back on that part. You know, every Christmas, of course, Walking in the Air comes up. You know, you can't avoid
get away from it,
There was
can
only
you?
one Christmas in my life when no one mentioned Walking in the Air, and that's when I did Strictly. And everyone was more interested in my rumba or whatever they call it.
I was waiting for you to dance to Walking in the Air. That didn't happen.
Yeah, no chance. Those dancing days are over. Some say they never started.
After 40 years, more than 40 years in the business, would Little Aled ever believe that Big Aled would be here today, still making music, still out there performing?
No, and I thank my lucky stars, you know, that I am doing it. You know, I'd had a try at presenting and doing stuff like that, which I also love. But, you know, there was no kind of any other job I could go to. You know, I never put a pressure on myself. I knew I'd sing again as an adult. Whether I'd sing in the Bath or the Albert Hall wasn't really up to me.
Because it's always been your first love, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it still is. You know, there have been times when television has taken over. And then I kind of think to myself, why are you doing this really? Because you like television and you love radio, but your biggest love in the world is singing. So that's what I should be doing more of.
Songs of praise.
Yeah, it's still going. I've done it for nearly 25 years,
wow,
which is mad. Life has gone so quickly.
And do you still love it?
I still love it. Yeah, I probably love it more now.
Where did it all start for you?
It started by being Welsh, I suppose.
It's in your blood.
Yeah, and we are encouraged to sing from the moment we were born. You know, I joined Bangor Cathedral Choir, and then there was a lady in the congregation there who loved my singing, wrote to a record company in Wales saying you should record this boy's voice. We got a letter through the post saying, do you want to make an album? I'm like, wow, okay, let's do it. That album was on sale in Cardiff, where a producer needed a boy soprano to do a huge BBC programme. So the programme went out, watched by 18 million people, called Voices from the Holy Land. And 4 days later, the producer rang my dad up and said, Mr. Jones, you should kind of sit down because your son's currently number 2 in the pop chart, behind Bruce Springsteen and Born in the USA. And that's when life went mad.
Yes.
And that was it then, you know. Monday to Friday, I was just a normal school kid. And then keeping stum about this other life I had. And then Friday afternoon, I'd be on the train to London and meeting my pop heroes, or, you know, singing at Bob Geldof and Paula Yates' wedding or something mad like that, you know.
I cannot believe you sang at their wedding.
I know, neither can I, really.
It's proper pinch me stuff, isn't it?
Well, the iconic photo of Bob and Paula, and Paula's in the big red dress, and, you know, then you see George Michael, Simon Le Bon, Tony Hadley, Midge Ure, and me hanging out with David Bowie. But at the time, I was more excited about Spandau Ballet. I was an 80s kid, you know, so...
But you also became a favourite with the Royals.
I sang for Her Majesty the Queen loads. The first time I forgot my words, singing Memory of all pieces. And as I say, Rory Bremner came up to me afterwards. He was on the bill. It was one of his first gigs. And he came up to me and said, you've sung Memory and proved to the world you haven't got one.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's lots of stories like that on tour.
Is it true that you and Diana shared a hairdresser at one point?
You know too much. Yeah, it's true, and I talk about that as well. Richard Dalton was the princess's hairdresser. He had one other client, and that was the TVAM presenter Anne Diamond.
There you go, you're up there in good company.
And if you put the 3 of us together, we've got identical haircuts.
He only did one style.
He did one style very well.
You had to take a little bit of a break from music when your voice broke. And
yeah.
You had to reassess everything, I guess.
I knew I wanted to perform because doing what I did as a kid had given me a few opportunities. I always joked, or some researcher somewhere wrote it, so I had to live with it, that I wanted Terry Wogan's job. And Terry and I became great mates. Yeah, he always gave me a bit of advice when I was a kid to spread myself as thinly as possible, because it makes it more difficult for people to get rid of you. So he said, do everything. And that's what I suppose I have done. I thoroughly enjoy the life I lead now, and I've been very lucky, you know, to have the opportunity as a boy and then to be able to do it as a man as well.